Hello, everybody, and welcome to Table Takes. We've got a very special episode for you today, filled with exciting news stories, a very cool interview, and of course, our favorite guest, Jeffrey. I'm just gonna get us started and have everybody tell us about their week, how it's been, and what they've been up to. We'll start with you, Jeffrey.
All right. Well, this week's been a very busy one at ICV2. There's been a lot of news. But more importantly, the new edition of Internal Correspondence number 103 has hit retail stores. So, and on the cover, we got Yu-Gi-Oh! Legendary Collection. So I just got this in the mail, I don't know, like a couple of hours ago. So I'm assuming the retailers got it like in whatever distribution order they got it in or mailed to them directly. So, all right. So that's what we did this week. We published this sucker. So,
That's
yay.
awesome.
Yep. Twice a year.
And after all those years, the top cards they show are the three Egyptian god cards.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's because of the sets that are in the Legendary Collection. But,
Okay.
yeah,
I was about to be like, man.
they're reprinting like 5 sets or something for Yu-Gi-Oh! So we covered it a couple weeks ago. But
Heck yeah.
boom, look at that. It's beautiful. Boom.
Gorgeous.
Go out and
Alrighty.
get your copy.
It gets sent free to retailers, so like you can find one.
If someone's charging you for it, maybe ask a couple more questions.
Well, they have the option. I'm
Steal
not
it
gonna
at a
take it away
store near
from-
you.
I'm not.
No, we do not advocate for theft.
No theft. No.
I'm just kidding.
Don't steal our magazine.
And with that, Marcus, why don't you tell us a little bit about your week? How you been, buddy?
You know what? I have been, as I remember which camera I am. Oh, here I am. I have been pretty great. It's been snowy. It's been rainy. It's been altogether really weird. But last Sunday was my birthday, so I've got to had a pretty nice, chill, relaxing, work-heavy, rain, stormy week. But I'm digging it and I'm having a good time. And I'm happy to be here on Table Takes with Noir and Jeffrey Dom Sanchez. And I want to ask you a question, Noir, actually, if I may.
Yes, absolutely.
How are you this week, Noir?
Oh, that's an involved question. No, I've been real good. I made an impulse buy, and I'm just kind of looking at my tracking, waiting for it to get here. I went ahead and got myself a drone.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
that's not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, I've been I've been I've been getting into filmmaking, and so it's just like
Not
you
an
know what,
assault
this
drone
would
of
be
some
pretty.
kind.
Oh no!
Okay,
no,
I was like,
no.
hey, eat your own.
I'll be honest, that's throwing me off for the rest of the show. I was expecting like some great Kickstarter came in or something. Nope, drone.
See, I'm bringing it so that I can take cool pictures of all the cool cosplays we'll see at Gen Con this year.
Yes.
See, I brought it back around.
Yes.
Excellent.
That's why you host.
Awesome. We're there.
One more reason I host is because I love doing transitions. Speaking of which, we've got an interesting news story for everyone here. Introducing Dead by Daylight, the board game from Asmodee. Of course, thanks to the folks over at ICV2, Asmodee is going to bring Dead by Daylight, the board game, into US retail. This game is based on the online Dead by Daylight game by Behavior Interactive. In the game, players must help a team of survivors work together to find and repair a generator that opens exit gates. They are trying to escape before the killer hunts them down and sacrifices them on the gruesome hooks hidden throughout the trail grounds. It is a true asymmetric game that features a tension-filled showdown of strategies and wits, featuring some of the most prolific names in the horror genre. You've got everyone from Ghostface to Michael Myers, Leatherface, and so on and so forth. This game has a cult following. It's extremely popular, and it's going to be created by Level 99 Games, and it's going to enter the U.S. in retail stores April 7th, 2023. I think this is a no-brainer. You got extraordinarily popular brand and an extraordinarily niche type genre. Like horror fans are like, no, I feel like no, there's no one that's a fan of something harder than horror fans and metal fans, and this is
Yes.
right in that niche. So I feel
Agreed.
like this is gonna be an extraordinarily successful endeavor by Level 99 Games. But I want to pass it on to you two. Do you have any thoughts? Have you played Dead by Daylight? What are you curious about?
So,
I want to know what you think.
Jeffrey, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the horror genre has been on fire lately in the board game industry.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
yeah, Trick or Treat Studios is putting out like all kinds of crazy stuff. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween 1970. Oh wait, blurred me. So it's in here.
I'll fix it in post. I'll fix it in post.
Yeah, no, it's in the magazine. Got to be in time. Okay, like for. Oh.
I mean,
you didn't hear.
I think it's fair to say. I think it's fair to say, just in general, we're kind of in a golden era for horror in general. We've had some extraordinarily amazing movies. I know Smile is a really good one. Megan exists. So like,
This is Noir. If I may add to what you're saying, I also
absolutely
hate Megan. No,
Halloween's ended.
Halloween is officially ended.
Yeah.
No, so this one of the most fascinating things in the last, like, I would say maybe 5 or 6 years is that horror. As I'm a big film, I like movies. I like seeing things. But horror as a genre, arguably, it would be like maybe once a year you get a genuine banger of a movie. Like, it's a genre where you get so many movies and there's good and there's mixed, and it's, and liking things is subjective. But now we're at a point where we consistently are getting attention paid to horror as a genre, as a tool, and there's so many great bright spots like this. One of the things I'm curious specifically about Dead by Daylight is one of the benefits of the game is they have all these reskins of horror classics. It pays a lot of homage where you can play playable villains like from even Resident Evil, from old movies like Evil Dead, from various horrors. Like, I think there's even a Jigsaw one, a Stranger Things one. I wonder if they're going to be able to do any of the licensing stuff with this as well, or if they're going to be strictly the Dead by Daylight experience. I know licensing is also incredibly complicated, so I don't even know what that would look like.
Yeah, I don't know how they would customize it for each franchise either, but it's very exciting to think about. Mm-hmm. You know what else is very exciting to think about?
Oh, what?
Oh,
the French.
The French, yes,
exactly.
The French. All right, now
could you tell us a little bit more?
Wow,
Jeffrey, could you tell us more about the French?
Could I tell you about the French? But all that aside, so there's a game coming out called In the Footsteps of Darwin. It's a board game, rondel tile placement board game by Sorry We Are French. It's coming out through Hachette Board Games USA, and there's a little bit of buzz behind this one. Essentially the game comes down to players taking on the roles as junior naturalists finishing Darwin's work on Origin of Species. So they're exploring some extra islands he didn't get to and that type of thing. And the goal of the game is essentially to score victory points through cartography surveys, publishing their findings, developing theories, finding new animals. And, this is one of the games you hear about that there's just like a little bit of an undercurrent to. There's people are talking about this. It's like kind of what I heard when Ark Nova was coming around last year. I was like, oh yeah, this Ark Nova game's going to be probably really good. And I'm kind of getting the same vibe off of this one. Okay, this is, maybe a good seller for FLGS. So, anybody have any thoughts on this?
It's certainly an interesting concept. This would be something that I probably would enjoy watching more than playing myself. But I'm curious to see how competitive something like this could get. I love competitive games where like you can kind of, release your inner bad guy. I'm just curious as to like what's the most vicious way you could play something like this.
I don't know if it's like really intended for that. I think it's more of like an exploration game. Yeah. I don't think this is like by any means like God, I just couldn't think of a game off the top of my head that's like a really cut through. It's not like playing Axis and Allies by
Yeah,
any stretch of the imagination.
I was like, Noir, you found a
So
way to hope for a competitive discovery game of like,
yeah,
I
right.
want to discover which exactly anemone this is before you.
I think it is competitive. I just don't think like it's I don't think it's like that kind of competitive. Like
yeah, there's not a mechanic where you can trash the work of other naturalists to make yours look better.
Any
well,
game is that competitive if you're brave enough.
you got to go real deep to get there. But this one is definitely, this one is getting the buzz of a winner basically. So long before it's coming out.
Well,
So
that's excellent to hear. We'll definitely keep an eye on it.
yep.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
can see a couple of innies in this one's future.
Could be Origins Awards too.
Ooh.
Yeah, something.
Ooh.
You heard
All
it
right.
first, folks. You heard it first, yeah.
Speaking of award winning, we have Pokemon the game gets classic treatment. That works somehow in my head. Of course,
It was fine
Pokemon
by
trading
me.
card. See, I appreciate you guys. I need that support. Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic is intended to offer a complete experience for the game. It includes 3 pre-constructed decks that feature popular and iconic cards drawn from the game's history, as well as some brand new cards. The 3 decks are focused around Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. The decks were not designed with deck construction in mind and are meant to be used as static decks. I think this is something that the Pokemon card game has been needing for some time. I used to collect Pokemon cards like most kids my age, but I had no idea how the card game worked. I needed to catch them all because I was told to. And so like I had all these cards. I had all these cards, no clue how to play. And at the time, when I was younger, there wasn't really a pre-constructed deck or like a starter guide thing like show you how to play. Like Yu-Gi-Oh had like the Yugi, the Joey, the Pegasus starter decks, and they kind of broke down how to play. Pokemon really needed that when I was younger, and we didn't have it. So it's really, really cool to see this happening. I mean, obviously, I think this is a winner. Pokemon really never needed the game to sell the cards.
Right.
So, like, if they get people hooked on the game on top of our just perpetual need to catch them all, then I think we've got a real winner on our hands. But what do you guys think?
I agree. It looks like just the look of it is. I just recently got a Switch for my birthday, so I've been playing through some Pokemon games that I never got to play, and I love the aesthetic. I love the design elements, and that little deck, that little space, the game space. It looks so cool. I would have lost my mind over that as a kid. I wouldn't. I still would have not known what to do with it, just like you with the Pokemon cards. But if I play Pokemon, I would buy this in a heartbeat. This looks cool.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
Pokemon and a lot of the major card games have needed entry level products for years. And, it's because, let's face it, the same Magic players and the same Pokemon players and the same Yu-Gi-Oh players are all essentially playing the same game they've played for a while, and the base isn't growing that much. So,
Yes.
I mean, I really doubt that there's like an exorbitant amount of, new people getting into the game every day, but that's probably because there's just no way in, for this to be able to pick up a starter deck and go, that sounds great to me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what else sounds great to me is the return of Robo Rally.
Yes!
Oh, nice! That's so smooth.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I got it. I got the transition thing finally. Yay! So I mentioned this last week, sort of haphazardly, to Peter Atkinson. We were talking about, we were just talking about Renegade and them bringing some of the Avalon Hill products back, some of the old WotC stuff back, just the stuff that's been sitting around in Hasbro cold storage for God knows how long. And Robo Rally, oh man, all the older gamers have a real soft spot for this game, and I am surprised it took this long to get it back out. And, you know, I mean, it could be Peter and I talking about it on air last week. Maybe someone was watching that, and all of a sudden I got a sell sheet for it, and, which is interesting. But anyways, so you've all played Robo Rally before, right? Or no? Yes,
I
no,
have
maybe.
not.
Oh, okay. So it's a robot program racing game. For those of you not familiar with this, it's what the game responsible for Magic: The Gathering, essentially, because it brought Peter Atkinson and Richard Garfield together to collaborate on a project for the first time. Without that, there's no Magic. So
Wow.
yeah,
I didn't
right.
even think about that. Holy heck.
Yeah,
Wow.
he said it last week. Peter was talking about it a little bit,
That's right.
and it historically it's a really important game. And once again, thank you Renegade for bringing it back. And the new version looks great from what I've seen of the box art, and I've been looking
Yeah.
through the. It's coming with actually pre-painted robot miniatures, and it also has like 80 different race courses for you to go and play around on. And unlike the previous game, there are options for short and long race courses, different difficulty levels. I mean, this is going to be huge. Like I think it's going to be huge. I think it's a lot of nostalgia for people of my generation of gaming, and it's great to introduce it to the newer fans of board games. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I love Robot Rally, so I'm kind of biased. So
No, this looks really cool, especially because I mean there's like a subculture for like battle bots these days now
Yes.
too. That's extraordinarily popular. So this feels like it's in the same vein, so that those
just
folks
wait
will
till
have
you
something to
play
play at
it. I
home.
mean, it's like nothing. It's more like a programming game than it is actually like a race game, because you
Oh,
have to program the movement of the robot. So it's pretty cool.
oh yeah, I want to see this one played.
Yeah. Oh no,
But
it's
you
coming.
but you did mention Magic, and we've got some news on Magic. Uh, we've got Command Fest dates. So Wizards of the Coast announces first Magic the Gathering Command Fest for 2023. Dates coincide with March of the Machines pre-release. Regional retailer impact is unknown currently. So Wizards of the Coast has announced the dates and regions for the first Magic the Gathering Command Fest held in 2023. Command Fests are large-scale events where players and organizers gather to celebrate all things Commander and EDH. The date for the first Commander Fest of 2023 will coincide with March of the Machines pre-release on the weekend of April 14th, 2023 to April 16th, 2023. The locations and organizer are as follows for that weekend's events: Richmond, Virginia, event organized by Star City Games; Indianapolis, Indiana, event organized by Pastime Games; Orlando, Florida, event organized by Cool Stuff Incorporated; and Seattle, Washington, event organized by Laughing Dragon. 1 second, Chicago, we've got to get it together. Why are we not on this list? Sorry, I was just gonna
I'm happy
say.
Seattle made the list. Seattle made the cut. I'm very happy.
Ah,
Indianapolis is kind of close. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like I can drive to Indianapolis, but I shouldn't have to. I live in Chicago. You
Right.
gotta do better.
By that, I can't argue by that philosophy. I live in Chicago too, so I'm
Right?
just like,
It's like, how dare we have to go to places we lived in a place where places should come to?
so Noir. What's even funnier about your statement is that Pastimes is actually from Chicago. They're out in Niles.
Pa- Pastime.
Yeah, right. Pastimes, right.
Camera one. Come on. What are y'all doing? What are you doing, baby? All right. But that's our news on Commander Fest. We're just gonna move right on down. We've got information on an exclusive preview card. So I want to hear more about that from Flesh and Blood TCG.
Okay, so Flesh and Blood TCG is coming out with this Outsiders set in March. ICV2 kind of got to spoil one of their preview cards ahead of time. Like the previous season was supposed to start tomorrow, but we got it one day ahead. So we got to put it out there, and because ICV2 is essentially closed on Saturday, so if no news really gets reported that day. So, but anyways, so this new set seems to focus. And for those of you not familiar with Flesh and Blood, it's a fantastic game made by Legend Story Studios in New Zealand. It was created by James White, the CEO, and it's essentially a hero on hero duel to the death, effectively. So yeah, right. It's like they take out their big weapons and their shields, and and spells and all kinds of stuff, and attack one another strategically. And there's all kinds of different characters. This set in particular is going to focus on the ranger, the assassins, and the ninjas. So they're all D&D-esque classes, so to speak. So this one sort of focused on the stealthy group. Okay, so and the card we spoiled was Toxic Tips, which is basically a it's essentially a gauntlet that gives characters tokens that poison them. So that's with the attacks. So their pre-releases for Outsiders will start up March 17th and run through the 20th. And I highly recommend checking out Flesh and Blood at your FLGS.
Heck, like I had not heard of this game, but I'm kind of looking, and the art for this is gorgeous.
They're using magic
absolutely
artists, like Mark Poole does stuff for this. Steve Argyle did like a whole set of dragons for this. I mean, they're legit. Like James has done a great job with this company since in this game since 2018, 2019. I think we knew about it in 2018, but I think the rest of the world got it in 2019. So but yeah, no, there's several sets in at this point. They got a following, they focus on organized play. That's like the best part about this. It's like, they're working with the local game stores, to put out these armory kits that give them everything to run tournaments. It's a draftable game, so even if you don't want to play a constructed deck, you can, draft cards and stuff like that and play a draft format. So it's a cool game.
Yeah.
Check it out sometime.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna spend a couple of bucks on this one. The art is just, I can't stress enough how beautiful these cards
they're gorgeous cards. Yeah, gorgeous.
Definitely give them a
gold
look.
foils are gorgeous.
I love shiny.
Yep, the shiny's great in this one. So
all right, let's now we got to talk about something a little less shiny. So Funko swings to loss. Plans layoffs and trashing inventory. So Funko swung to a loss for Q4 and the full year of 2022, and plans to cut staff and trash inventory to turn things around. The things turned south hard in Q3 as inventory nearly doubled, margins declined, and the company experienced problems at its new distribution center. Company founder Brian Moriarty returned as CEO in December, displacing Andrew Perlmutter, and announced the hiring of former Walmart.com CEO Steve Nave as COO and CFO. The COO role is a new position, and as CFO, Nave will replace former CFO Jennifer Fall Young, who left in December. So it's unfortunate to hear about a company taking a hit like this, mainly because that does usually equal a massive loss of jobs. I can kind of see where this is coming from, though. During the pandemic, there wasn't a lot of need, or not that there's ever really need, but there wasn't a lot of need for Funko Pops. It's kind of wild hearing about this on the business aspect of things. I have a sibling that worked at Hot Topic, and there are tons of Funko collectors that come in early every day trying to get the latest figures. That group just is not large enough from the sounds of things. So it's kind of rough to hear it, but that's where Funko's at right now. You guys got any thoughts?
Well, Funko's in a weird place right now. Well, for a while there, they were going into a little bit more towards board games. Uh, there's been a number of shifts within the company itself, but the mainstay was still always the pop vinyl figures. And it seems like that cooled off a little bit after the pandemic. So, who knows? Like we'd been doing retail checks for a while of various stores, and what is it? FYE, is that the store?
That was
Uh,
the
yeah,
yeah.
FYE is one of the stores that carries a lot of that. We were seeing walls of this stuff over the core holiday season. So this is not, there was none of them missing. So it wasn't that big of a surprise to see them swing a huge loss. And the concept of you know throwing a bunch of Funko Pops into a landfill, or destroying them, however they do that, recycling them in some way. Like you're
I,
yeah,
I certainly hope they're recycling.
you
I
know
can't wait to have my plastic dishware made of old David Harbour Funko Pops that didn't sell out of the Hot Topic discount bin.
yeah, I
Those
was just thinking, man, Spirit of Halloween's got to get in on that one because they make a lot of Halloween costumes, and
yes,
yeah, that's
yes.
all made on vinyl.
That actually might
So
be the way the business deal that solves this thing.
who knows? But not good news for Funko.
No,
So
pretty.
Yeah,
It's always bad when you
not
hear job cuts and people losing work. That's the hardest thing for me. I think from this article that it's gonna be rough on the actual employees.
so I'll tell you what is
yeah.
good news though, is Harvest Hoppers by Snowbright
Yes,
Studios. And
Yeah, we
yes.
should hop to a
Marcus,
new town.
so Marcus, you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
I would love to. So, Snowbright Studios is launching Harvest Hoppers, a game about bike riding frogs delivering produce that will release next February. So, not this February because that was already happened. Next February, keep up. In Harvest Hoppers, players become bicycle couriers tasked with delivering fresh produce from local farms and co ops to the markets and stores of Green Branch, set in the same fictional world as Snowbright's Tea Time Adventures tabletop role playing game. A delightful and cute tabletop role playing game, by the way. So, I love that it's actually set in the same world. It's a pick up and delivery style game where they must load the produce and maneuver around the village making deliveries, with bonuses awarded for delivering similar clients to the same neighborhoods. After 3 delivery days, the one with the best reputation points wins the game. So this is really cool. It offers 3 different play modes: tadpole, strategic, and chaos. I believe these are like more also like a mix of difficulty levels. It comes with 6 modular game boards, over 150 delicious produce tokens, 36 coins, and a reputation scoreboard with 6 standees. It is intended for 1 or 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in under an hour. I like Snowbright games. This is really, really cool. I love seeing the Kickstarter has. If you look at it, the Kickstarter has attracted over $6,869 from 120 backers. This looks
Ooh.
cool. I am a fan of Snowbright. Has any of you ever played Tea Time Adventures or are familiar with Snowbright at all?
Oh yeah, definitely. What was the one? Yeah, Tea Time Adventures was one of them, and then there was another one with birds. It was Snow. Ooh, it was a bird card game. It escapes me off the top of my head right now, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, great company. Grace Collins, wonderful person, runs it.
love Grace.
Yeah, love Grace, and it's I support the Kickstarter. So yeah, so
uh,
we need more great games. So
Agreed. And honestly, if you get frogs delivering things, I don't know why. That's a genre that I didn't know was near and dear to my heart. I love produce. I love frogs. Let's just combine the two. Frogs delivering produce. Let's do it. Dream works for me.
More
right
frog
on.
race games, dang it. you've, you've heard our demands.
So that is, I believe, all of our headlines today. So
Oh, wow.
I know,
Rock
right?
and roll.
So, and it's like, why? What are we going to do with the rest of our time? Well, just coming up in about 5 minutes, we're going to be having an interview with Mark Tassin. He's going to be coming on to discuss Cool Name RPG, a community-owned fantasy role-playing system. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be going on a really brief break, but Jeffrey will be leaving us for the week to to go on and do wonderful, magical things as we do this interview. So, Jeffrey, would you like to just say hello, goodbye, anything you want to plug? You can plug the magazine again. We won't promise.
Oh,
we
yeah,
promise
I'm
we will not
plugging
say
the
steal
magazine
it.
again.
We promise we will not say go to the place and
Do
steal
not steal it.
Go to the place, check out this awesome magazine.
Do not
Jeffrey,
go to your local retailer and steal our magazine.
Acquire it
No.
with whatever means necessary.
No, but seriously, internal correspondence, this is our 103rd issue. Like, quality read. We've got the pick hits in here. So if you're looking for up and coming games that, you're looking for suggestions, we have a few new things revealed in the pick hits that haven't quite hit the solicits yet. So, yeah, I blurted one out earlier in the show.
What slipped if you're listening?
I don't think Trick or Treat's going to be too disappointed with that, but it did slip. But there's actually the new Flesh and Blood sets in here too, and information about that. Yeah, that hasn't hit the public either. So, all right, so see you guys sometime soon.
Absolutely.
I'll be back.
All right, see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay,
yep. Later, Noir. Later,
be
Marcus.
Right back. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back in one moment.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second half of TableTakes. Today, we have a fantastic guest that we're going to interview, and I'm so excited. You may recognize him from Out of Character show that was on this channel, but we've got the wonderful Mark Tassin with us today.
Hey, thanks for
Hello.
having me. Yeah, thanks. This is great. I'm excited to be here.
I'm super excited to have you. We've got a lot to go down, and not all the time in the world. So I just kind of want to jump into it. We've got code name. A cool name goes here. I don't know where my brain went for a hot second there, but so this is a community-owned RPG system. I was hoping that you could tell us a little bit about that. You've got a Kickstarter going on right now, and you've
Yeah.
already funded. So
Yeah,
like,
we
Yeah.
funded a while ago. We've been unlocking stretch goals. Yeah, what we're doing is we decided that we wanted to, in the wake of all the turmoil that had gone on around the OGL and all of that stuff, we thought this doesn't really reflect what's best about gamers and gaming. It doesn't really reflect why we like being gamers. So we thought, well, what if instead of, jumping in on this, we instead just said, well, look, let's just demonstrate what it is that we love. And what we love is people getting together to create really, really cool stuff and sharing it. And so what I did is I ran the writer symposium for a few years and I knew a lot of folks. And I said, well, what if we got all these people together and we wrote a new fantasy RPG together and then we gave it away? And everyone's like, that's a terrible business plan. I go, I know, but it's awesome, right? And so I talked to our team at Mechanical Muse, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do this. That would be awesome." So here we are. We didn't even have a name for it, although we had some cool names. We were like, "No, we should let everybody else pick the name if we're giving it away." So we ended up with a temporary name of "Cool Name Goes Here," and it's just been a roller coaster ride since. It's been going great.
everything about this just looks so incredibly exciting. And you mentioned about the whole OGL nonsense that we went through.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
quickly were you able to put this together? Because it's essentially like you forming the TTRPG Avengers. It's just a really
Yeah,
cool
I had the
know,
same
right?
thought. I had the exact same question. I was like, it just seemed like it'd be that quick and that put together. Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. It's crazy, and it is. I honestly, I feel like I've formed the game design Avengers with the folks that are taking part in this. Thursday night before all the news broke, when the news was just starting to break, we heard it. We had a staff meeting Friday morning at Mechanical Muse, and so we sat back and we had planned to talk about our next fifth edition product. So instead, we went, I don't know, we should be talking about that. What if we did this instead? And everyone goes, that would be awesome. And we started working like lunatics. We're doing searches for web addresses, we're building websites, we start reaching out to the people we know. And honestly, within like 2 days, we had the rough bones of it put together. And then within about, a few weeks, boom, we're on Kickstarter and we're good to go. So I mean, we just worked like lunatics to make this happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot stress to the audience enough how complicated putting a Kickstarter together is. So the fact that you guys are able to just I'm like part of some of my jobs in the game industry has been putting together Kickstarters, and it's tedious. So this is just thoroughly impressive, especially especially with all the names that you have attached to it. Like these are heavy hitters like that you have attached to this. So like there's no doubt that what you're gonna put out is gonna be amazing. I
Oh,
mean,
we are so excited about it. And it's the thing is that we believe that there's room in the world for tons of different games. And we're very excited about putting out something that we can really sort of collectively work together on, right? Like to have folks like Matt Forbeck and Eloy Lisanta and Owen Stevens and all of these folks coming together to work on this, it's just really great. And each of their roles, they're consulting designers. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working with the different folks who are helping us with the core design work and with the audience, right? The backers are going to give us their thoughts. We're going to build stuff out and then hand this over to our consulting designers and go, what do you think? Good idea, bad idea? Are we on the right track, the wrong track? And they're going to help us out. So I think it's going to turn out pretty amazing. I'm pretty excited to see what comes of it.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. You guys have already gotten to $15,000, which is incredibly awesome. Uh again, I'm just so enraptured by how fast this has all happened. I
Yeah.
have to ask, have there been any surprises, or has there been any like obstacles in the like that just kind of came out of nowhere? And how do you maintain?
Yeah. So the biggest surprise we ran into so far was we actually picked a name at first, and
Mhm.
we built the graphics, the website, we bought the IP, the website name and everything. And like an hour before we were about to go live, someone else goes, I did a search on Drive-Thru RPG and this exists. Somehow you missed it when you were searching. We're like going, oh my God, this is terrible. So we had to stop everything and go back to scratch and rebuild all this stuff, which that was a moment of just sheer and utter panic, right? You know, it was like the day before we're supposed to tell people about it. But we made it through okay. And, you know, throughout the process, the thing is that so many people are excited to work with us on this and doing such awesome work. It's been pretty smooth, kind of like a really good game night, right? When things just come together,
Yeah.
that's kind of what's happened here, right?
Yeah, I just I cannot wait to see what comes of this. And you know, with being the one behind the scenes kind of making this all, happen.
Yeah.
Can I ask what's the most what part of this are you most excited about? Like, what can't you wait for everybody to see? If you
The
could
thing
indulge us with that.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm okay. So the thing I'm most excited about is the day that we finish this, right? We're targeting to have
Mhm.
our official finished version of the game on August of 2024 at Gen Con. That's how we're going to premiere it. That's what we're going to do. And we are going to be doing play tests well before that, right? But the whole idea here for me is being able to share this as a group, that moment of joy that all the backers and all the people who gave us feedback and all those consulting designers, we can slap that down and put the done stamp on it and stand back and say, we did what we said we were going to do. We're going to show what it is to be a gamer, which is to make magic together as a group. And I mean, we're already seeing it on the Discord for Cool Name and on Kickstarter. Everyone's throwing out ideas and having a blast coming up with things and having really cool, constructive conversations about, well, we could do magic like this. And I saw another system do this. I mean, that's what I'm excited to see, that finished, buttoned up product that we can all sit back and go, we did that. It was crazy, but it worked.
That's what I'm excited for too, because there are a lot of things that some games have, and they really only have it because they've always had it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes any
Yeah.
sense. So it's very exciting to see something brand new that's not beholden to anything in the past. And you guys have a clean slate. Was there anything at the beginning of this where you were like, our game definitely has to accomplish this, or our game cannot do this? Like, were there any like hard lines in the sand that you had
Yeah.
at the start that you've carried through development?
Well, we do. And one of those is, and we kind of wrote them out in like this 15-page document that outlines the requirements for this game, which are things like making sure, first of all, that people who have only ever played fifth edition can figure out how to play this without breaking their minds, right? We don't want to make a clone or a copy, but we want something they pick it up and they go, yeah, I can do this, right? Like the kids at the
Yeah.
D&D club, like my nephews and nieces who pick this up, don't look at it and go, I don't know what to do. They pick it up and they go like, I can do this, right? And, you know,
Yeah.
also a big thing for me, just from a nerdy game design perspective, is making sure that every aspect of the game involves everybody. So you don't end up with those scenes where everyone's
Yes.
going to talk to the king and the barbarian sitting back going like, I guess I'll hang out at the pub. Have fun, guys. Right. And it leaves the player, right? I want to make sure that the players stay involved, even if their character needs to be left home, because sometimes it's better to leave the barbarian at home. We all know this, but it's as long as we can keep the players engaged throughout, right? And so I have things like that I'm looking at, because at the end of the day, what we roll for dice really isn't as important as the overall game experience that everyone has at the table. So that's where my focus is on this.
I love
That
hearing that.
that's
I
such
love hearing that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
such an exciting concept that I can't like rationalize. Like, I can't see how that would be done. So I'm
yeah.
very excited to get my hands on the finished copy of this.
Well, we've already got people sitting on the Discord coming up with ways we can do it, and I've seen it done in some other games. So I think we're going to come out good. I think the other thing I'm excited about is we're going to be showing everyone the process from start to finish. Every week I do a design journal where I go live and I talk about what we did, the problems we ran into. People can ask questions, offer ideas. And so the whole idea is that people who are interested can follow this along from start to finish, right? From the very beginning, and see what it's like to construct a game from the ground up. So I'm excited about that too.
Oh, that's really cool from the perspective of like any like third party that might want to build for this.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've written for D&D or some other system, and I'm like, what were they thinking? And
Yeah.
how do I write around it? And for this system, they'll actually be able to see what you're thinking. That's incredibly cool.
Well, and that's another one of our requirements, is that we want to make this game as much as fun and easy for players as it is for creators, right? So we're creating a bunch of tools, even things as far as like InDesign templates and things, so that creators can jump in and play it. So for example, our basic rules, I'd want to see it where any creator can plug their world into it without changing a whole lot and release that as their quick start. Or if you want to build spells, you don't have to sit there going like, how did they build that spell? I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the rule of cool is fine and all, but as a creator, I need some formulas, man. Give me something to work with, right? Some rules to break if I have to.
It's always Magic that's the hardest to write for, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
no, that's incredibly cool. So I'm curious. Are there any parts of this that you can kind of like give us examples of? Like, do you have like your classes available or anything like that? I'm eager to get a piece.
I know, right? And everybody is. And I keep like saying, like going, so I know this is crazy, but we didn't actually write any of that yet, right? That's what we're going to do. Starting from the beginning, like Owen Stevens, for example, he's like, I want to be involved right at the beginning. I want to be involved for some of that beginning stuff. So I'm like, yeah, man, we'll do it, right? What I can say is that, there are gaming sort of philosophies like that, keeping every player involved throughout the process. We have some gaming philosophies around a reward system that allows people to get rewarded for things other than just every monster you kill, because I think that that's
Thank
important
you.
as well, right? Yeah, opportunities to get rewarded for things like avoiding combat, and giving the GMs
Thank
guidance
you.
on that, because those make great stories, right? All of those sorts of things I want to see worked into this game. And we're also looking at, we're taking a minute to say, let's look at the things that are fundamental that we always have, like stats, and make sure we're including them because they're the right thing to include, not because we've always included them. And so that's the thing that's been really fun, is those sorts of conversations are already going on Discord, where we ask ourselves, should we do this because we always have, or because it's the right choice? And so that exploration is fun by itself. Honestly, however this turns out, whether people love the game or just don't care to ever play it again, just the adventure of doing this, I think, is going to be great for everybody involved. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Listen, with the names that you have attached to this, there's no doubt in my mind that we're gonna love it. I have another weird question to ask, but
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't. If you could talk to yourself at the beginning of this process and kind of give yourself like a warning or a heads up, or like, I'm kind of curious, what would you tell yourself?
You know what? I would have told myself, don't wait for a crisis to do the thing you've always wanted to do. Just do it, right? Just jump into it, do it. The world needs more Magic. We don't need to wait for something to shove us into this. We should just pursue it no matter how crazy. That's my opinion. And I think that I wish I would have done this sooner, because I'm having a great time.
Listen, this is something that the space needed, like the entire hobby needed.
Yeah.
So, personally, thank you.
You're welcome.
The whole OGL nonsense was a really dark time for the space, but seeing things like this come from it just kind of reminds me that this space is filled with wonderfully talented and hardworking folks. Because again, I know how long it takes to put a Kickstarter together. This is insanity to me.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it worked out, and I had a lot of help. So
do you have a timetable for when you think you'll play it the first time as like a play tester?
Yeah, our goal.
You don't have to tell us. I'm just curious.
No, I can tell you, because we're setting some pretty tough goals for ourselves, right? I mean, one of the first things we want to have is we want to have the basic rules in people's hands in some form by January of this coming January, so people can start play testing. So I hope that we can have the raw nuts and bolts of how this game is played, the basic mechanics in people's hands by then, so they can start testing it, because we really want to hit that August timetable for a year from now. But in the meantime, but as far as playable stuff, we're doing this like software development with 2-week sprints. So every 2 weeks, we're going to be releasing more content, right? And so hopefully within a couple of months, people have some stuff that they can, look at and start picking apart and trying out at home. So we'll see.
This is gonna be so cool. I can't wait to see you at Gen Con with this in hand. It's gonna be a thoroughly enjoyable time. Marcus, just real quick, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask?
No, I mean, oh, Marcus, sorry, I'm is this an interview? No,
I forgot, I've got 2 marks.
What's it like working here?
It's pretty cool.
The only thing I want to say is because a lot of the questions I had, Noir actually covered very well. But I love hearing that there is, like you mentioned about the stats. Does this need to be here, or has it always just been here?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of even across all kinds of things that we do as humans, that is a thing that we tend to ignore. We either focus optimizing, cutting things out without thinking about it, or just keep things because it's perfunctory. It's just what we have done. Yeah. And the fact that you're paying that much attention to that is already opening me up. Like I wanted to play this at the beginning, but every single thing I've learned throughout this interview now solidifies the fact that I actually want to get a group together when this is available and play the hell out of it. Mark, thank you so much for coming and talking about this. This is awesome.
Hey, thanks for having me. This was great. Nice to talk to both of you guys.
Thank you so much. And last thing I'll say on the topic is I just love that Cool Name Goes Here ended up winning out. I can't tell you how stoked I am just because of the name.
We've all fallen in love with it too. I have a feeling we're going to end up stuck with it at the end of the day because everyone seems to really like it.
That and the logo is just so awesome.
Awesome. It's so good.
Thanks.
All right, but I think that's going to do it for us today here at TableTakes. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're going to just go straight to Sarah's table today, but of course,
at
just
5 p.m. At 5 p.m.
5 p.m. So
it's
sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
I don't know where my brain is today. It's made out of spaghetti, but please stick around. And as for our streaming schedule, of course, on Mondays at 4 p.m., we have Board Games with Brother Smurf. At 6 p.m. on Monday, we have Drastic Quest. Wednesday, we have Actoroki at 6 p.m. Thursdays, we've got at 10 a.m. Blood on the Clock Tower, 4 p.m. with Roll with Rim Alternus, and of course on Fridays you can find us right back here on Table Takes and then Table Takes Games, and of course we wrap the night out with Sarah's Table. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to everybody that joined us today, Jeffrey Sanchez, Mark Tassin, and of course Marcus. Thank you all so much. And please remember, if you miss any of our programming, check out the VOD here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later. Follow GCTV here for more of the best 4 days in gaming all year round. Bye-bye.
Bye.